you've ever been a little afraid or scared to share your faith, this week's Wednesday Wisdom is for you. As we continue here through 1 Corinthians, we enter chapter 2, and here Paul, arguably one of the most outspoken Christians in the Bible, tells us that even happens to him. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 3, it says, I came to you in weakness, timid and trembling. And in some versions, it even uses that actual word, afraid. And when we think of Paul, man, I don't know about you, but usually I don't think of him being afraid to share his faith or anything. But he's talking back to this time when he came to Corinth and helped start this church. He came in there, he didn't know really how the people were going to react or what he was going to say. And I think for you and me, sometimes that's a barrier to sharing our faith. As Paul outlines here in the beginning of chapter 2, he says, I didn't come to you using lofty words or great wisdom. He came in the power of the Holy Spirit. And that's something we need to remember when we interact with people in this world. I mean, I talk to people a lot that say, oh man, I really wish I could share my faith with so-and-so. But I'm a little bit intimidated. I'm afraid because I don't know if I have the words or if I can win that argument or, answer all their questions and criticisms and comebacks or whatever that might be. And Paul here is telling us, hey, it's not about that. It's about us and what God's doing us. How's God changed our hearts? And we take the Holy Spirit with us into these conversations. It's our job to step out in faith and share the gospel, but it's the Holy Spirit's job to awaken and soften hearts to Jesus. I mean, that's an amazing load off our shoulders, I would think, right? If we don't frame it that all the pressure is on us, all we have to do is be genuine and tell people what God has done in our life and that he can do that in their life too. And then it's up to the Holy Spirit and them to take those next steps if need be. And that's not always going to work out all the time. And that's okay too. I mean, we want everybody to come to Jesus, but some people just won't. But again, that burden is on the Holy Spirit. We bring the Holy Spirit in us to the conversation and God does the rest. And I love the fact that, it just says you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have all the wisdom. Is there a place for that? Sure. Paul moves on to that. In verse 6 through 9, he says, hey, when I gather with other believers, when I gather with other strong Christians, there we go deep. We talk about the things that God has revealed to us, and we share that with one another, just to encourage one another and just help us build our faith stronger. I mean, he uses the word mystery, right? And going back to those people who, man, you present the gospel to, and they just don't believe, it is a mystery, right? That when we're not ready to receive Jesus into our hearts, a lot of this stuff, as Paul says in this chapter, just seems senseless and seems, doesn't compute with us. We're just like, yeah, that's nonsense. And that's the glory of the gospel, right? Is the Holy Spirit, as Paul talks about here, is it fills us and makes us understand God's plan and makes us understand that God is so far beyond us in wisdom and knowledge that we could never fully understand God. And that is the beauty of it. That is the glory of it, right? It's his world. It's just up to us to have faith or trust in there and know in it and know that the Holy Spirit goes with us wherever we go, including these conversations that we're a little intimidated by. And I'd like to just end here in verse 10 where it says, but it was to us that God revealed these things by his Spirit. For his Spirit searches out everything and shows us God's deep secrets. And I think, often we forget that God reveals to us his plan because we put our trust or faith in him. And that's why it seems so foreign to the world, to people who haven't made the decision to follow Christ, because they're not getting anything revealed to them because they're not even looking for it. So again, that's where it's our part to step out into our communities and share the gospel in the way that we can tell people what God has done for us and let them know he can do the same for them. But when it comes to arguing and all that kind of stuff, that's probably not going to do it. We just need to step out in faith and represent Jesus well in our world and care for other people. Well, I hope that helps you a little bit. Be a little bit braver about having those difficult conversations with people, just because you can share what God is doing in your life, share your testimony. So we will catch you next week on Wednesday Wisdom. I hope you have a great week. We'll catch you later.